I wish I had have given my young husband some options, but my thing was I'm a young wife, just like he's a young husband, and I'm going. I come from a broken family, and I'm not trying to deal with that. I didn't think I'd deal with polygyny, but I also knew I was running away from the conversation. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Is Fatimah, Coach Fatimah, 1/3 of Outstanding Personal Relationships and co-author of the new book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Now, let's get into this discussion or this specific video. It's called Husbands, Let's Tell the Truth. Now, what does that mean? It means so much. We're talking about polygyny. I've had countless times where I've been approached specifically about husbands not being forthcoming with wanting to marry again in the future, presently, whatever the case may be, somewhere down the line, and they might not have a specific time in which they want to do so. I know my husband didn't, but he entered polygyny. It ain't, this big old giant diabolical scheme, plot, plan, or whatever. Although I was not aware. He said that. We've said it countless times. Had I been aware or not aware, I would have liked it, don't care which way. But I would have respected him more had I known prior to. Everybody knows that and they know why. This is not a training about that. That's just real. He knows that. I know that. And we've talked about it. We've discussed it. And we have indeed trained on that. My mind will never change about it. His mind is not going to change about it. He learned the lessons that he needed to learn, and so did I through that. Now, let's get into this video. I wanted to address this because it is a thing. One thing about men when they do want to marry again or practice polygyny, which is the ancient practice of having more than one wife. Up to 4 if they're Muslim. There is a limitation on wives, and there are many characteristics that a husband must possess in order to step into polygyny and marry again. But one thing I did learn, especially as a young wife, and then now as I've become older and wiser, is that it is wise to have the conversation prior to polygyny. Do you have to? No, you don't have to. But then you don't also have to participate in a successful marriage if you don't. It's going to be difficult to do. It'll be a challenge. It'll be more challenging. It'll be more layers of things that you have to uncover, discover, explain, proclaim, and everything else. I mean, it's so much. You have to go back, and it's like what do they call that? Re-engineering everything. And it's so hard to dig yourself out of that hole, but you picked up the shovel. That's the thing. So if I had it all to do again, I myself would have brought up polygyny. That's me. Does everybody have to do that? No. But me, ignorance was bliss. I was like, look, he'd bring it up when he want to do it. I'm not gonna give him no ideas. The ideas be there. And he's not giving anybody anything. He is absolutely a critical thinker. Is it always emotion driven? No. Not an INTJ. That is the personality type indicator. INTJ stands for introverted, intuitive, thinking, judging. And my personality type is an ENFP. I'm an extrovert, intuitive, feeling, perceiving. So I am the polar opposite of Coach Nazir, which is cool because what's cool about it is on the out of the 16 personality types, we're the perfect match, so to speak. And the best friend of an ENFP is an INFJ, which is Coach Nyla through and through. And I'm like, this is making so much sense now. But if you're interested in taking this free test, go to Human Metrics. I think it's humanmetrics.com or 16personalitytypes.com. That don't mean you hold 16 different personalities and all that. It just means there's a name for each, and whatever score you get at the end of the test, you answer your own test. This is not astrology. This is you're answering specific questions about different scenarios that how you would go about them or follow through with those different scenarios. And then there's a line of questions. So you guys check that out. I'm telling you, I learned so much about everybody in this family from them taking the test. So it's just perfect. It just aligns so much with them. But there are some general blanket statements about the different personality types. I won't go off into it that I don't agree with every little thing. Like some, an INTJ leads more. They say, I think, in a feeler, or an ENFP says, I feel. That's just how they communicate. I'm telling you, that's just how it is. So if you don't believe me, try it out with your spouse. So, anywho, they get to decide what that looks like for them. And if they got to go through it and figure it out, because if we want perfection, then you're not going to get it, because you're dealing with people again. And I'll say it again, you're dealing with people, and you're not going to have this perfected poly experience, because we go in and out of happiness, and we go in and out of trial and triumph and winning and losing. Remember, those are lessons. So we don't get to say, well, I think you're man enough now to do this. So also, with that, the conversations need to be had about polygyny and what the ideal goal and outcome, and what does that look like, in the future. What does it look like? What are the expectations? What are the boundaries? What are they? But if we're not being honest about what we want and how we feel and what our experiences are of one another, it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult to have the discussion if we're meeting each other in judgment and we're not listening, we're not having an open mind. We're not talking about finances. We're not talking about how is this going to work financially? Where are we going to live? What are the rules? What is our new normal going to look like? I wish I had have given my young husband some options, but my thing was, I'm a young wife, just like he's a young husband, and I'm going, I come from a broken family, and I'm not trying to deal with that. I didn't think I'd deal with polygyny, but I also knew I was running away from the conversation, because I thought the leader should have the conversation, which he should have. However, that didn't mean that my voice was shut out and shut down. Nobody ever shut my voice down. Nobody ever said, don't talk to me about polygyny, I'll talk to you first. We just didn't talk about it. And that is one of the pitfalls of being an ENFP and an INTJ in a marriage together. One waits for the other one. But we knew better now. We know better now, so we do better now. But when you're younger, and we're not old by any means, but when you're younger and you don't have the resources or the support in your community, and everybody's running from it and they don't want to talk about it, you don't have anybody to talk to or run to. And you don't want. I felt as though I didn't need to step on his toes with it. He would come to me with it, and then he's met with, well, I don't know how to come to her with it. I don't know what she gonna say. So it's like, I'll just deal with it later on, and we did. I mean, that's the thing. Whether you know it or not, you gonna deal with it. Ain't no way around it. Because I have yet to meet a man that is married to more than one woman and the others don't know about it, and he can continue that on the long term. It's just not realistic. It's difficult. I cannot imagine, but it's like, at the same time, let's not sign up for that class either. Sometimes we have to do what we have to do, but I love that Coach Nazir said, you know what, if I had it to do it again, it would have had a different outcome. I can respect it. I can respect the decision to say, look, that wasn't the best way. It wasn't necessarily the wrong way, but it wasn't an effective way. It wasn't, it was in a violation of something that he knew of me. that he knew of us. So I love that he said it, because oftentimes men will go through these things and they won't admit it, they won't say it, they'll blame you and all types of things. And I really, really, um, part of my, my healing journey is ongoing in some areas, but shoot, that thing catapulted me the first time he said that. He said it to me in private, but when he said it publicly, I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting it, because it just was such an intimate detail of his life. And he had a right to say, I ain't talking about that. And I had a right to say, well, I am, so I love that he just went there. It felt good to know that he learned, I learned, I love it. But you can't learn, and you can't learn from one another if you're not open-minded enough to talk about it. And I just wasn't. I just waited. I waited too long, and I'm woman enough to say it. So when we are thinking about, we meaning men and women and husbands and wives, about polygyny, let's have the discussion at the appropriate time with the appropriate energy. Let's be honest. Let's own our stuff. Let's own the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's admit our wrong. Let's admit and celebrate our right. There's more good times to be had in my life. There's more good happiness and moments to share, and moments to create, and healing to still do. I got healing I'm doing for my parents, and one of them passed on. So I know me enough to know where I need to heal, and I'm not asking anybody permission to do so. That's that part about being an adult and being able to embrace the power that I have to heal. So people that kind of come for him in the comments, he knew that was coming. I mean, a blind man could see that. And my grandma used to say F is a crooked letter and G can't straighten it. Do you know what that means? They're both crooked letters, so one can't help the other. But I know what she meant when she said it to me. You can't judge him. I am mad at him, but you can't judge him if you want to act a clown and a fool and you don't want to grow. Either you're going to stay or you're going to go on about your business. And that's just what that old Southern granny of mine said that raised me. There's much wisdom in that. Much wisdom. She said it she said it that way, and then she had another way of saying it, and I'm not going to have YouTube coming for my life about it. I'm not going to repeat it the way she said it sometimes, but I needed that kick in the pants, and I love her for it. But what I also love is when people are honest and they're courageous, because there's a difference between being courageous and being reckless. A reckless person will drive into a crowd of people on a motorcycle. A reckless person will go and, throw glass bottles at people and put their eyes out because hey, I'm reckless and I'm fearless. Courage takes class and control, takes some contentment, it takes calm communication, it takes understanding, it takes the willingness to see another perception other than your own. So let's be courageous and have that what my co-wife calls courageous communication, because that's what it is, and have the discussion and be men and women about it and talk again in an appropriate tone at the appropriate time, and understand when we're having those conversations that everything doesn't have to be figured out in that one conversation. Keep the conversation going about marriage, about monogamy, about polygyny, and respecting boundaries, and understanding that we're not here to raise our husbands, and they're not here to raise us, and we're not here to own and possess one another. We're not. We're not the possessions of one another. So we get to decide how much power in it we're going to embrace, and we also get to decide that we're not going to weaponize that power towards one another, against one another, in the way of destroying our marriages. So with that being said, make sure that you guys are commenting, liking, and subscribing, and hitting that notification bell so that you're notified every time we upload. You guys want to stay in the know? Let's keep this conversation going in the comments with one another. Let's share our points of view respectfully. Um, And what are we going to put in the comments? I love what my co-wife says, courageous communication. Let's put that there because it does matter. We train about it, we counsel, we coach. If you want more details, there will be a video in this video if it has not went in there already. I'm pretty sure it did. For those of you that are new, I'm Coach Fatimah. I'm going to leave you with a little GLC like the OPR team always does. Make sure that you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Just want to give you all a heads up on my group coaching. I'm so excited about it. So many of you have asked about it. And if you're on a wait list, make sure that you sign up to be on my wait list for group coaching by visiting coachfatimah.com to register for that. It's so exciting. I have so many different things to share with you all. If you want to level up and meet the champion within, please join and become a part of the wait list. I'll see you guys soon. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.